Hey guys, welcome to another mod showcase. Today I'm showcasing Wallywood's primetime edition for GM Spectre's Wrestlemania 10 SK edition. So what this is a golden era mod for Wrestlemania X by GM Spectre. So there's no texture modding involved. It uses the assets that we have, and you have a golden era roster. So instead of having a lot of new gen guys in there, you have all your favorites from the late 80s and very early 90s. So this is really easy to do, and as it's built on top of a ROM hack, you will be able to play this on your EverDrive and Summer card. So it's just another way to play this mod, and Wallywood has got all permission from GM Spectre for this, so it's endorsed, it's all good, and the link will be in the description. It's just a save. There is also an EverDrive and Summer card save available. I will take that off Wallywood as well. So let's talk about WWF during the golden era. Let's talk about Hulkamania, let's talk about it all, and let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, show you the roster as always, and so we'll just go Royal Rumble, why not? So you have your championships there and everything, very cool. So let's get into it. So we, of course, have the Hulkster himself, so you can see I helped out with some of the attires here to give it that more golden era feel. So you've got Hogan from 93, and of course we've got the Hogan attire we all think of, but you've got his early Saturday night main event gear as well, the blue and then the all white from, I think, the second Saturday night main event. We've got Randy Savage, of course, a mainstay of the era. You can put in your Macho King attires, you can put in everything you want there. So we've got Randy Savage, we've got Andre the Giant, we've got him when he was a heel, when he was teaming with Haku, as well as when he was the baby face and undefeated, and we've got Super Giant Machine there. The Ultimate Warrior, his face paint was added in the SK edition update, so a lot of people will finally be happy to see this in here, which looks great. So we've got 4 attires for him. The Iron Sheik, baby, put him in the camel clutch and make them humble. His tag team attire with Nikolai Volkov, as well as Colonel Mustafa, if you want to recreate the Triangle of Terror, and of course some attires from when he was WWF champion. The Undertaker from the original. Sergeant Slaughter, again, Iraqi sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter, but also boot camp Sergeant Slaughter. Big Boss Man, looking fantastic here, and I think we have a big Bubba Rogers attire too, which is quite nice. We've got Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. We've got Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, looking fantastic. We've got Ravishing Rick Rude in here, from when he first came to the WWF, as well as his main event run, so you can recreate his cage match with the Ultimate Warrior. We've got Sid Justice in here, which looks really cool. IRS, King Kong Bundy, Papa Shango, Virgil, looking very cool as well. Jake Roberts, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I changed some of these attires here, so very cool. Quake, Earthquake. We've also got Typhoon, and I think we also have Tugboat, which is pretty sick as well. Kamala, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I gave him his Hogan 93 attire, but you've also got some of his more classic stuff in here, and it really comes out well. I really like the design choices here from Wallywood. Of course, the Hot Rod himself, Roddy Piper, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, very cool. Mr. Perfect from the original, the Junkyard Jog, JYD, Cowboy Bob Orton, Bad News Brown, George the Animal Steel, looking absolutely crazy, Mr. Wonderful himself, Paul Orndorff, Tito Santana, and we also got the Matador as well, which is very cool. If you want to recreate that food there with Rick Martel, and you've got his Strike Force gear too, which is very nice. We've got Rick and Scott Steiner, which is really cool as well. Really cool stuff to have in there. We've got Smash, and we've got Crush. We've got Kona Crush as well. Do we have Repo Man? We have Axe. Okay, we have Axe and Smash, which is pretty sick. We have the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobs and Jerry Saggs. We have the Road Warriors themselves, the Legion of Doom, Animal and Hawk, looking pretty sick and stellar. What else do we have here? We have Davey Boy, and we also have the British Bulldog. We have his tag team partner, the Dynamite Kid. We have Brett and Jim Neidhart, the Hart Foundation. We've got Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, the Rockers. We've got the Powers of Pain, we've got the Warlord. And we've also got the Barbarian, which is pretty sick. And they've got their singles attires in there as well, if you want to recreate that. We've got the Honky Tonk Man, which this is one of my favorite gears in the game. I think it really came out great. We've got Paul Roma. And we've got the One Man Gang, but we also have Akeem, which looks pretty cool. That does remind me a lot of, oh my god, who was the guy who was Sushi Onita's main rival? Tarzan Goda. Really looks like Tarzan Goda. Adrian Adonis, if you want to recreate his feud with Roddy Piper. The Genius himself, Lanny Poffo. We've got the Mountie. We've got the modern day warrior, Kerry Von Erich. We've got Hercules Hernandez, but here it says Hernandez. That'll have to be fixed at some point. I think we've got his Power and Glory gear as well, which is pretty cool, so you can team him up with Roma. We've got Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream in Thief. We've got King Harley Race, as well as NWA Harley Race. We've got Dino Bravo. This is one of my favorites. Mr. Fuji. We've got Greg the Hammer Valentine. We've also got Rhythm and Blues Valentine as well. And we've got Bob Backlund as well. That is that series of numbers there is left over. It's too complicated to explain. I can't be bothered. And then at the very end, we have some new gen people who were around towards the end of that golden era. So Razor Ramon comes right in at the end, teaming with Ric Flair to go up against Mr. Perfect and Randy Savage. We also have Shawn Michaels when he first turned into Heartbreak Kid. We've got Diesel, fresh off his Vinny Vegas run. No more Snake Eyes for him. We've got Owen Hart in his gear when he was no longer the Blue Blazer. We've also got High Energy Owen, which is great to see. And then we got the Lightning Kid, the 1-2-3 Kid himself, which is pretty cool. So all in all, an absolutely stocked roster of phenomenal people and phenomenal wrestlers from this era. I'm curious to try out Ultimate Warrior because it's just been staring me in the face. I don't know what my favorite one is, but I'll go with this one, and we'll go with the Dead Man himself. It's the Ultimate Warrior versus the Undertaker. I think I did this when I played the other save by KVG. But just absolutely really, really cool to see a project like this. Obviously, when this mod first dropped, this was one of the things that people were talking about. They really wanted to see a version of it that focused just a little bit more on that golden era. And of course, with WWF Legends Challenge 64, it's a fantastic mod, but obviously it's a texture mod. And some people just can't get it working or can't run it. So for them to have the option of now a ROM hack that they can play on hardware, they can play on an EverDrive or on their summer cart, and get that WWF late 80s, early 90s feel, I think it's great for them. So, variety is the spice of life. The more mods that are available are obviously great, and it's been a tremendous week. And there's still more to come. I think that Sinister Software is releasing an update for his SmackDown 2 ECW mod. That should be coming, I think, on Friday. So I don't think I'll be able to cover that this week. We also had KVG is doing a mod for Freem Edition, which focuses similarly on this era and the WCW Saturday Night era. So expect to see that when I can cover it. And then on top of all of that, my Get the F Back In mod finally launched on PS3, which was very, very cool. Now, unfortunately, it's been a long time since we originally released it, and I'd say that a lot of the hype has died down and everything, but it's still cool to see more mods being made. And of course, the big release this week was WWF Warzone by Wolfpack, which I've really been enjoying. I'm going to lose this test of strength because I never seem to win it on the hard difficulty since it's been implemented. I don't think it's possible to win it, to be honest. But yeah, that was the big release, and I'm really enjoying that mod. The attention to detail is fantastic, and yeah, when it comes to this mod, absolutely stacked in terms of roster. The only one I didn't see Coco. I don't know if Coco's been taken out, but yeah, some really great choices. And wow, he is counting fast. I don't remember him ever counting that fast. But then again, I don't think I ever play with countouts on. But there we go. There's the Warrior calling it for it. Yeah, it was really cool to see this in there. And if you haven't been following GM Spectre's work, he's been updating WCW Saturday Night. He'll get the same treatment as WrestleMania X. And he's finally done something that I really, really like. One thing I really hated about the mod, well, not hated, but when I looked at the mod at first, I was like, he's got to change the Sting face paint, because Sting has so many iconic face paint attires, and just to port over the same ones they have would be a bit lame. And he's going to be porting over new ones. I think one of them is Great American Bash 1990, which is just fantastic, iconic Sting gear. So I'm really happy to see that. And the inclusions of Manager as well is really going to add to the flair of that one. So it's absolutely sick. And speaking of this mod, it's really cool to have Ric Flair in here. Ric Flair was heavily requested. This mod obviously focuses heavily on that 93, 94 era, with being called WrestleMania 10 and everything, and focuses on the Genesis and SNES era of the video games, but Ric Flair made it into Raw, so they made a very valid case for having Ric Flair in there. And now to have him in there, I don't know if Mr. Perfect is actually his manager. That would actually be sick, and I might check that after this. I might play as Flair, because I'd say the big additions that people are going to go for from this mod is obviously Warrior, who came out great, but also I think Flair is going to be a popular one that I see pop up. But I'm really excited about the tag teams. To have Axe in there, I think is super cool, and just really good stuff. That's how I battle the Undertaker here. These had many it wasn't a coffin match, was it? They had like body bag matches. Very, very odd. Yeah, I think one of them is actually in 2K15 as like a showcase, isn't it? They put that in there. Yeah, I must go back and play that. I haven't played 2K15 in ages, but they really started to do the Legends proud around that time. Where is my shoulder block? What is that? Where is the I'm gonna have to take a look at these movesets, man. If I can't hit my diving shoulder block, we've got serious problems here. Or my flying shoulder block, not my diving shoulder block. Idiot. Let's see now. If he can't. No, he's blocking everything. He's in one of those zones. It's terrible when the AI is like this. It's the worst in World Tour or Virtual Pro Wrestling 64. They start blocking everything, and it's nearly impossible to get to them, and it just ruins the fun because you're just waiting there for ages. You have to be so airtight. Like, look at this now. He's blocking everything. Oh, I don't like that. Okay. There we go. He'll probably reverse this now. Oh, look, where is the shoulder block, my man? Gotta hit the shoulder block as Warrior. Can't be wrestling like this. Oh, man, could you imagine that? In the middle of a match, Warrior just starts dumping people on his head. Like, no wonder Rick Rude dumped him on his head. That Gonzo bomb. If he's wrestling as dangerous as this. Dingo Warrior. Supermax. Very nice. Okay, we're setting up for whatever finish I have. I imagine it's a military slam, and then I'll be able to run the ropes and tear him up with my great moves. Oh, MMA Warrior. Wow. Knees to the head. Okay, there we go. Oh! And running away. Oh, tactics. Alright. Oh, I've got him. I've got him. There it is. Oh! Oh! Ah, it looks like I'm giving the finger as I do it. That should be all. Oh! Unbelievable! Oh, now he's just going to reverse everything. Oh, thank God. It's on my side for once. The gods are on my side. This would have been a pretty good pay-per-view match if they got to it. But obviously Warrior was having a lot of issues in that summer of 91. And yeah, the Papa Shango thing was an absolute ridiculous thing. And as much as I love Charles Wright, the Godfather, I don't think that that gimmick was ever going to be on the same level as Warrior. But his run-in... Oh, that's unfair. Inverted atomic drop. The man from Death Valley. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, now he's mine. Let me see if I can roll him up. Oh, my God, that's brutal. I wonder what the inspiration for that is. That just looks like, I don't know, Jumbo Saruda or maybe Stan Hansen just absolutely battering someone in the back of the head. Like, look at it. It's brutal. Boom! Time after time he gets up, though. The dead man. Oh! He's not the most deadly striker in the business, but he's pretty close. I think I'm just going to keep spamming that. That makes me laugh. Boom! Yeah, that's one of my favorite animations in this. Oh, big atomic drop! But we are jammed back to the rafters here. I'm just going to keep hitting him in his breadbasket if this keeps going. Scoop slam, scooping a slam. Alright then. The Warrior! He's got him up! Oh my goodness! Off the ropes. Ultimate splash! And there we go. That's all she wrote. Okay. Very good. Oh, he's got the Kamala taunt. Yeah, ultimate splash. Love it. So now we're going to do a little tag team action. I think I'm going to be inspired by what I saw on the Vault recently. I think it was on Superstars, but I'm not really sure. But I saw a wonderful match between Ric Flair and the sexy boy himself, Shawn Michaels. Let's see what one I'll go for. I think we'll go for this one. Shawn Michaels up against Bret Hart and Randy Savage. And it was in 92, and I think it was a dark match. Where are all my tag teams? They're here somewhere. Bret, there's Bret. Let's see. We'll go with that one. No format. 30 minutes now, we won't need that long. TKO, no flares involved, there's got to be blood. No rope breaks, okay. Ring out count. No DQ. Lumberjack, interesting. Flair and Michaels versus the Hitman and the Macho Man. I love that ring apron, by the way. I don't know why. I didn't grow up playing the NES games or anything, but that just screams nostalgia to me right there. Here we go, anyways. Ric Flair and Randy Savage. I have to say here, because I don't get to talk about this era too often, but Randy Savage might have my favorite arc in all of WrestleMania. His arc from WrestleMania 4 to WrestleMania 8 is just tremendous. Winning the WWF Championship, losing Elizabeth, trying to replace Elizabeth with Sherry, ultimately losing his career, winning Elizabeth back because of it, and then winning the WWF Championship from Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8, or retaining. Is it retaining or winning? I'm not actually sure. But that whole storyline is just tremendous. And it's probably my favorite arc in all of wrestling, and I don't think it gets enough appreciation. Like they obviously, you see the clips of him winning the title or Hogan beating him at WrestleMania 5, but nothing about Dusty at WrestleMania 6, or not a lot about WrestleMania 8. They just focus on the reunion at 7, but all of that time is just tremendous. Savage is just so good, and I cannot believe Vince looked at him and said, "You're done." Savage could have kept going even longer if he didn't jump off that cage at I think it was Uncensored, when it was Piper and Hogan, and he just decided to do the most ridiculous cage dive ever, like an axe handle off like a 15-foot high steel cage. He just completely shattered his knees. Like, it was so dumb, so stupid. He could have kept going for so much longer though, and he would have been great. And if we really got to see Savage versus Michaels, it would have been fantastic. Michaels could have had so much better opponents during that time as well. The feud with Mr. Perfect never worked out. There's just so much good stuff. And obviously Flair in the WWF, it still feels weird, even though he was there for quite some time because of Jim Herd and how stupid his Spartacus idea was. But the Royal Rumble 92 is one of my favorite Rumbles of all time. I think I might like 2001 just a bit more because that's the peak of my fandom. And it's just so much fun. You've got the Hardcore Rumble because of the popularity of the Hardcore division, The Rock and Stone Cold in there and everything. And then Austin beating Kane. It's just great Rumble. But 92 is fantastic, and Bobby Heenan is just tremendous during it. The whole thing, he is absolutely on fire. It is just one of the best things ever. As I am taking it to Bret Hart here as I talk about this. Bret Hart during this time, I do love the 2 out of 3 falls, Demolition, and the Hart Foundation at SummerSlam 90. That is a tremendous match. And obviously, Hart and Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam 91. Very interesting, especially that Perfect wasn't doing too well during that time, and he had the new manager who was just called The Coach. I don't know how far that went, because my memory is a bit hazy on all of it, but that's a fantastic match. And of course, Bret and Piper at WrestleMania 8, which is just awesome. So many good matches during this time, and yeah, it's just I like 92. I like 92. It might be a downturn in business and everything, but in WCW, Dangerous Alliance really keeps my attention. But also, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in the WWF, and the rise of these kind of guys, and Savage keeps me interested. A lot of good stuff, really. It's a shame that the next year it kind of all falls off a cliff, but that's how it goes sometimes, the steroid trial and everything, and just people not being as big as on the gas as they were. But wow, Savage really does not care about the life of Bret Hart here. And this is over. The Nature Boy Ric Flair coming in. Oh, he's got the strut. Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely tapped him out. Didn't even get to see Savage and what Shawn Michaels were doing over there, but it don't matter to me. It's all good. And let's see, we'll do one more. The temptation of a cage match is always there, but I've learned my lesson from other recordings. I don't really want to go into that. So we'll do SummerSlam, and let me see. Who would I like to see? Because you know, it's absolutely stacked. Like, there's so many people here, and I imagine people are going to play around with the save so much. I do have a fondness for so many people on the roster here. Like, if I went through the roster and just give my thoughts on some of the people, like, there's so many cool people in here. I do like Akeem, though. I come up against Akeem twice. That Dino Bravo, like, that is sick. Paul Bearer. Let's see, SummerSlam. I do like that Sheik. Big Boss Man, Virgil, Bundy. Who else is new? There's a lot of people who are new. I love that Duggan as well. It looks absolutely ridiculous. I saw him. Tito versus Greg, or something else. Let me see. The Honky Tonk. I did say the Honky Tonk Man impressed me. Oh, that's just so cool. I'm going with Honky. Alright, let's see who is doing the JOB to the Honky Tonk Man. Oh, well. An unfortunate case. Not something that everyone was happy with, but Honky Tonk Man and Ricky Steamboat. But to be honest, Ricky getting screwed over in the WWF leads him to go into WCW, and then we get the trilogy with Flair, and that shit is awesome. Especially the Chi-Town Rumble. Anytime. I really love Ricky Steamboat. One of my favorite baby faces of all time, and rightly deserved. Fantastic, really, really fantastic in the NWA, really fantastic in Jim Crockett Promotions and WCW. And when he comes back during the middle of the Dangerous Alliance, and time to be Dustin Rhodes' partner and go after Arn Anderson and Larry Sabisco, I fall in love with him all over again. And then when he starts feuding with Stone Cold, I fall in love with him all over again. Like, he is just phenomenal during that time. He should have been world champion more. He should have been pushed more. It's such a shame that he had to slow down I think he slowed down towards, I think it was early 94 he got an injury. And that's why they go Austin and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, which obviously is part of the whole Hogan and Friends era of WCW, which I've talked about at length now, that it really, really soured me on WCW, because I loved WCW at that time, and they were pushing the likes of Johnny B. Bad, Steven Regal, Austin and Pillman and Rhodes, and they all just go to the side and get pushed aside, and half of them are out of the company in the next 2 years, which really sucks. Really, really sucks, and I'm sure Regal would have went earlier if he could, if he didn't have such a drug problem. But yeah, Pillman leaves. Austin obviously leaves, very infamously tearing his bicep of a tour of New Japan, which I would actually love to see, by the way. I haven't actually seen much footage of Austin in New Japan, but it feels like such an odd fit for me. Like, obviously they were doing their tours and they had their partnership with New Japan since like 1990 or 91. But my god, like, imagine Austin, and this is obviously before his neck injury, so he's flying around the ring, hitting elbow drops and doing the gut wrenches, and then he's trying to kill New Japan talent like Liger and Hashimoto with the stun gun, which I never really bought into as a finish. Because it looks so awkward at times. It never looked like they actually choked themselves on the rope. I thought it was a weak finish, but still very memorable for the Rattlesnake, because I'm just tearing through competition here as the Honky Tonk Man. If only the Honky Tonk Man could wrestle this well in real life. There's a German! It's got a weird looking tan too, but I really like this mod. I think there's a lot of potential here, and I'm hoping that more of you guys check it out, because that's what we do here. That's what's funnily enough become my role now. It really is a hub for all the mods and everything, and I do look through all your comments and I do read them all, and it's really cool to see that you guys really appreciate it and see me as a way of keeping up to date with everything that's going on in the modding scene. I just would like to say that if you want to know about things before I make a video on them, I do talk about them in my Discord server. I try to post. It's not super active in there, but there are a few chats and a few people do contribute, and it it's quite nice, it's quite chill. But yeah, if something's coming, or I know something is coming, or I get my hands on a beta and people want me to put it out, I usually drop it there first and say, oh guys, this is coming, and be ready for this. And I also share previews for my mods. If you're still wondering where the next SmackDown 2 mod is going to be, you can check out my server there, and I update it. But there's a little shake, rattle, and roll for Ricky Steamboat. Now we're going to wrap this one up. So, I have stand corrected. There we go, we dropped him twice. Oh, we'll drop him thrice? With a with a vicious lariat from Honky Tonk, who's been working all Japan. Oh no, never mind. I was gonna go into a new arc there. The Honky Tonk Man had trained with Stan Hansen and Dr. Death Steve Williams. He developed his offense, and now he's going to beat Ricky Steamboat within an inch of his life here. With a big belly-to-belly suplex, that'll do. I don't need to waste time and build up to that finish. There we go. So, this is Wallywood's Prime Time Wrestling edition, update. I don't know how the best way to title it, I'll think of it later. For GM Spectre's WrestleMania X SK edition. So if you're a fan of the Golden Era, if you look at GM Spectre's mod and you say, I like the new gen, but I prefer the Golden Era, this is the mod for you. It has every big name, every tag team from the time, and there's just tons of fun to have with it. So definitely check this one out. And this has been another Mod and Showcase. My name's Sean O'Connor, and of course, I'll see you maybe later this week or maybe early next week for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.